What's up, guys? It's your girl Serpentine10, and today I am here to talk about the control settings that are in Street Fighter 6. And there's been some people talking about this, and it's very similar to something that has been added into Tekken. Tekken 7 had it, and what we're talking about is the classic and modern and dynamic controls. So, if you guys know, they have classic, which is basically your normal way of just playing the game ever since we've been playing, Street Fighter, quarter circle stuff. And then there's, I think, modern, which is a little bit more simpler inputs. You don't have to really go out of your way to do all the other things to pull off moves. And then there's dynamic, and I heard dynamic is maybe a little bit more easier. I think that there's like one button like specials or something like that. I'm not sure. I've never used dynamic. I've only used modern one time just to see what it did, and it's very interesting. I might use it again, but on my own time. But I don't want to use that all the time. And I want to know what other people think about this. So I've actually heard a couple of people complain about it. It's other people that think that it's perfectly fine to have buttons that, if you just want to see cool stuff and you just, don't want to go through all the hassle of doing like a million, inputs to get something done, modern and dynamic is for you. And I know that they have something like this in Street Fighter. Like, I think before, maybe? I'm not really sure if 5 had something similar to that. I believe that they did. They might have. But me, I think that I spent so much time in Street Fighter 4 and specifically 5 just trying to figure out how to do the quarter circle movement, that knowing now that the modern and dynamic thing is something that can be used, I almost feel like guilty using it because I spent so much time trying to figure out just those movements alone, and I feel like I'm not really learning anything if I just do one button combos and stuff. And it's the same problem that I had with Tekken 7. They actually had like the, I guess, easy combos. I can't remember what they were called, but I always would turn them off. And it's very similar to what Street Fighter has, but I think Street Fighter has a little bit more interesting way of doing it with these 3 different modes. And I know that most people will probably play classic. I know that everybody that is just used to this game and have played Street Fighter before, they'll probably just use classic. I don't see them using modern and dynamic, but I definitely feel like this mode is tailored towards new players. Anybody that just doesn't understand 2D fighters, I guess this is tailored for them. And it's kind of funny because I always have thought, and I still think, that 2D fighters are very difficult and you have to go out of your way to get a lot of stuff done. And since I'm primarily a 3D fighter gamer, like I like Tekken, I like DOA, Soul Calibur, I even like Virtual Fighter out of all things. And I just feel like those games are easier to deal with. But out of all the 2D fighters, I always want to understand how Street Fighter works. Street Fighter is the most popular out of the 2D fighters, and I always wanted to know how to play it. And it's different when it comes to, I guess, like, Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat. I guess I didn't feel the same way about those, but Street Fighter was like the one that it seems like it's blown up. It's like the father of all fighting games apparently, and people respect it because of that. And I always wanted to figure out how to play it. Like, throughout these 2 years, I've been trying to figure out how to play Street Fighter. It's funny enough because I never liked it, but seeing Street Fighter 6, this is probably the first time that I'm actually going to be like, wow, I'm really interested in playing the game. And just having those controls to be classic or modern and dynamic is very, very interesting, because I actually had to sit down and like think to myself, which one should I do? I've always had a difficult time playing Street Fighter. Should I do modern? Or should I just stick to what I only know, and that's playing, Street Fighter games, the old-fashioned way? And in my mind, I want to just play it the old-fashioned way. And I hope that, when we actually get to like World Tour and things like that. I hope that World Tour really breaks down how to play this game a little bit better, even with Classic, because the game is not really beginner friendly. It's not. They have all these things in this game, and I have noticed that they've done a lot of work on the training mode, but I really, really hope that they really break down how to play this game and how to explain it in layman's terms to people that are beginners, and even people like me that still have a hard time with 2D fighters. It's a lot of lingo and a lot of rules that you have to understand, and I just feel like people struggle with that because it's just not fleshed out and it's not talked about enough. And you'll be sitting there thinking to yourself, what am I supposed to do? And a lot of games just don't do it. And I know that Tekken has struggled with giving their players a good training mode. It's almost like Harada doesn't even want to, but it seems like Street Fighter 6 has a very, very good training mode. Like, the training mode looks amazing to me, and I really have to just wait and actually get into it myself. But from the footage that I have seen of the training mode, it looks like it's really breaking down things really good. But I just really hope that they explain the lingo and the ins and out of what you're doing on Classic, Modern, or Dynamic, and the reason why you want to use those moves. Because I just feel like playing fighting games, you press buttons, but do you really understand why you're pressing them? And I think that is one of the personal issues that I have with using maybe Modern and Dynamic, because I just feel like with those things you don't really realize what you're pressing and why, which I just feel like with the classic modes, it's kind of like that's the classic way of playing Street Fighter, and that's why you're playing it. And I'm not against those two modes at all. Absolutely not. I think that those two modes are probably the future of fighting games, to be honest. To be perfectly honest, I feel like the quarter circle stuff and having to press like 12 buttons just to get one thing done, that might be something of the past. I feel like a lot of games are probably going to integrate and start doing that, and it's not going to be the last that we see of that. It's very, very likely it won't be the last. So I'm assuming that this is going to be the norm in fighting games, and I know that it's very likely that when Street Fighter 7 comes out, I don't even know if we're gonna have a 7, but when Street Fighter 7 comes out, we probably won't even have those classic controls. They're probably gonna make this super easy for everybody. The whole thing is probably gonna be modern. The whole thing is very, very likely the whole thing will just be modern. And Street Fighter seems like it's going that way. And I mean, Tekken seems like they've already thrown that into the game. They're probably going to throw it into this next Tekken. Like Tekken 8 is probably going to have that as well. And I'm sure that the only fighting games that I'm not really sure will follow this suit, I don't know if the anime fighters will do it. Like Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear, will they do this as well? It definitely seems like Tekken and Street Fighter is doing it. Will the anime fighters do it? I mean, I'm very, very curious. Will Mortal Kombat do it? Mortal Kombat might have done it. I just haven't looked into that too much. But personally, I think that these modes are useful and they are needed. And I just think that in my case, personally, because someone has asked me and somebody has like asked me in the past about these things, especially when it came to Tekken, and I just said that I didn't want to use them because I just didn't feel like I was learning anything by just pressing one button. And it is not only just that. In my personal case, I think that in my personal case, I don't want to use anything other than classic, because when you are playing with other people, online or in person or anything, people notice what you're doing, unfortunately. And I know that a lot of people are going to say like, so why do you care about what other people think? But I've had a lot of issues with people, especially when playing fighting games just as a whole. I've had tons of problems about the way that I overall play games. It's been criticized highly all the time, and it really, really does spook me a little bit playing modern or dynamic, and people know that, because I just feel like that's, in my case, I worry that it's actually at the top of the thing too, and people can see that you're playing that. I feel like that is going to be an issue. Like, people are going to see that you play modern or dynamic, and I feel like they're going to just degrade you for it. Online and stuff. I feel like that's gonna happen to people. Like, you want to just get in there, you just want to do cool stuff, and because you just don't want to have the hassle of it, and you win that match against somebody that's playing classic, and here you can just see the comment coming your way. Oh, you're trash, you don't know how to play the game, you're using modern dynamic. Oh, I can just see it right now. Like, I can just see that happening to people. And it's a lot of the reasons why I don't even want to use that mode, is because I know that people are going to fucking butcher people if they use that mode. I know it. It's gonna be like the butchering of people that use that mode, because everybody can see it above their head that you're using the mode. But I'm not against people using it. I personally just fear the, overall people just degrading me for using something that they do not deem likable or fit, because I've just had so many issues playing fighting games with other people and them criticizing my gameplay and just criticizing, the person that I use and how I play. It's all has happened to me before, and I just don't want to use modern and dynamic for that reason, and also the other reason that I just don't feel like I'm learning anything. But this has been a topic that a lot of players have been talking about. I know a lot of high level players have been talking about it. So I really want to know what you guys think. Are you guys going to be using classic, dynamic, or modern? So, and also let me know if you guys have ever been had anything similar happen to you like I have. People are very, very gatekeepy about fighting games. And people are very, very serious about what they think about stuff. But I really want to know you guys' thoughts on this and what you guys are going to be using, and if you guys have even used the other modes. I think the dynamic you can't use on online, but have you used it? What do you think about it? And you guys let me know. But you guys also know what you have to do. Follow me on my Twitter, and also you guys check me out right here on YouTube every week. And until next time, guys, peace.